the pillow just fall down? How snide. It's that dilemma where it's like, do I put my hair that side or that way? Either way, I think it looks pretty rubbish. Yeah. Wonderful. Hello honeys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're just joining me now, then hi, my name's Imogen. Welcome to my channel. I upload 3 times a week. I upload Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays at 5 p.m. Also, I just wanted you to know that I've got a lot more content coming your way, so I'd be so grateful if you subscribe. Join my family of Huns. Definitely hit that subscribe button because honestly, the content that I have coming your way is good. Like, I want to get back into some of the old videos that I used to do, but also whack in some new ones. I don't know, just ignore me. But anyway, 3 videos a week, love and life. Also, what's that bit of hair? Also, I have a podcast every Sunday at 10 a.m, which is called Getting Lippy With, so make sure you go and subscribe to that. It's on Spotify, YouTube and iTunes, so I'll leave a link in the description to everything below. But today we're doing Storytime Sunday, so buckle up, ignore my hair, get ready for the ride. So leading on from my old story times, basically we are still doing the jobs story time. Also, I got a lot of feedback regarding what story times I should do next, and a lot of you have asked for the story times of me being in hospital and everything to do with my stomach condition, because I was in hospital for a long time. If that's something you really want me to do, then please definitely let me know in the description if you want me to do previous story times on all of my hospital journey and being ill and being sick, etc. So, because some of it's funny and some of it's really dark and not really great, and what is happening with my hair, just ignore it. Basically, we are nearly finished for the job story time. I'm actually in basically my last job before YouTube. Hallelujah. So basically in this job, let's not talk about it, but I did speak about it, and I will definitely leave all of the links to the old story times, so make sure you go and watch those ones because it leads you up to this one. So at this current moment in time, at this time of the story time, I am working in a club in London in Mayfair, which was very bougie, very, you know, the elite people came, and you know, the wealthy people. I mean, actually on the door, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, but I'm still going to say it. I think I am allowed, well, I am allowed to say it, but if I was working there I wouldn't be allowed to say it. But no one from Towie was allowed to come in, like no one from The Only Wears Essex was allowed to come in because it wasn't on brand. So I remember having to say someone like, you know, Jake Hall, is that his name? Jake Hall used to go out with Chloe Lewis. Anyway, he used to be on the show. He came in once and I had to reject him, and he was horrible. He was horrible. Like, I remember him and his friend screaming like to the bouncer, like, I'm gonna F you up later. Like, really? You're not a very nice person. Anyway, so I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of rowdy men fighting, arguing. However, this story time is why I hated men and why I was single for 5 years before I met my wonderful fiance, who I am so happy with now. Like, I can't explain to you how grateful I am to have him, but he had to work on me because I really did hate men. Like, I was quite difficult to begin with because I had such a big image in my mind of how men treat women, and I thought they were all cheats. I thought they were all just gonna leave you for the next best thing, because all I ever saw was cheating. Like, in the club, that's all I saw. I'll tell you some stories about it in a second, but, or I thought all men do drugs, and I was so anti that. I was like, oh my goodness, please, I can't find someone that does drugs, like, please. And that's just me. I know other people, you know, do whatever they've got to do, but for my own personal preference, I was like, oh my goodness, what I'm witnessing in this club is just horrible, wanky men, excuse my language, but it was just men that loved themselves, had a lot of money, and thought that money was power and they could buy you with money. And you know, I've been there, done that. Money doesn't bring you happiness, especially not in a relationship, trust me. Like, it actually brings problems if the person thinks they can owe you and own you with money. Like, if people think they can buy you with money, trust me, it's not a nice place to be. And that's why I've always been so independent in wanting to work and wanting to earn my own money, which unfortunately in previous relationships they haven't been happy about that, because especially one who was extremely wealthy, he was not happy about the fact that I wanted my own thing, because that's your independence that they want to take away from you, because they want to be completely in control of you, your life, your finances, your whole world basically. And I just was so like, I'm independent, I've been in hospital, you know, I was very much dealing with my stomach condition, I just was not wanting a man at all. Anyway, working in the club, wow. Like, when I first met my fiance, he was like, Jesus, like, it's like you've been in really bad relationships. You're so like anti-men and so kind of like, go away, go away, go away. But it was because of what I saw in this club. Like, honestly, it just completely destroyed all my naivety. And yes, I had been in 2 relationships which broke down and were horrible, but I still had a sense of like, this Disney princess in my head, thinking that there is a fairy tale, there is the thing at the end, which I do believe in now, but I lost sight of that working in this club because I just saw such pervy, disgusting men that a lot of women liked. A lot of women liked that they were going to be in a wealthy relationship, and that's just not me, and I don't judge people for that. Like, that's other people's business, but for me personally, that is not my vibe. Like, I don't want to be with someone just for money because it doesn't make you happy, and if anything, it makes you even more unhappy because you're like, even all these things that they buy me and all these things that I think I want, doesn't make me love them and doesn't make me happy. And you know, there were a lot of people that I came into contact with in the club that it's really sad. It's almost as though they would put their own morals below thinking that they could be with someone just for money. Like, honestly, that's all I saw. And if I can urge to you, and if I could sort of educate anyone on that matter, it's just me telling you that please, please, please don't ever think you have to be with someone because they've got money, or because honestly, you make your own money. Like, you do your own thing. You grow up and you're like, I have my own shit together. I have got my SHIT. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that one. I'm really bad. But you've got your own stuff, and I think that's so important. Like, obviously I love my fiance so much, but we both have our own things. We both bring something different to the table, and it's not about earning the same or anything like that, but it's about knowing that you have something to bring to the table. And like, one thing I find really difficult is when I first was with my fiance, a lot of people would be like, what's his job? And I'm like, does that define how nice he is as a person? Like, does that make him a better person if he has a really good job where he's earning loads of money? No, it's about how he treats me. That's how you should ask. You should be like, does he make you happy? And I'd be like, oh my God, he makes me the happiest person in the world. And I just think that some people can be quite judgmental about money, and I've never been that person. I've never been money grabbing. I've never been obsessed with money. I want money to have a nice life with my partner and to have kids in the future and to hopefully buy a house one day. You know, I don't want designer bags or anything like that. And if you do want that, then yeah, love your life. Like, that's what you want, but I don't want that. So just working in an environment where it was so money orientated, because you used to have men that would come in that would probably speak to you like a piece of SHIT, like a piece of dirt on their shoe. And because they'd spend £2,000 on a table, you used to have to be nice to them. And it was like, it was quite hard for me because I am quite outspoken. I don't like people that aren't nice, and I will say something about it sometimes, especially men. And especially at this time, I was so hating of men that if a man would come in and I'd have to take them down to their table, and they'd have a lot of money minimum spend, which means they buy the table, so they buy the alcohol that goes on the table. The whole club were like, oh my goodness, like, we've got a big spender here and all these things. And I'm like, he's horrible, and he's been rude, he's been male chauvinist, he said something to me about the way I'm dressed, or spoken to me as if I'm some kind of, he can buy me, but no one cared, because it was just so superficial. It was such a superficial environment, and I'm so glad I didn't get wrapped up in it, because me and my best friend Lucy, she's so not like that either, and I'm so glad I found her from that environment, because it was such a negative, horrible environment. I thought, oh my goodness, like, does everyone just want to be with someone for money, but they don't actually want to be in with someone that they love? And do you know what? There are people out there that earn loads of money and they're in a really happy relationship. It's not about that. I felt like people just wanted to be with someone for money. They didn't want to be with someone for love. And that really, that hit me. That hit me because I was like, I've never been brought up like this. Like, am I never going to find love? Because what? People are just so wanting of money. And it really didn't sit right with me. Anyway, there was a lot of occasions like this, but there was this one definite occasion. And this man came in, and he'd just been on a business trip, I think, in Sweden or something like that. Something like that. Anyway, he was talking to me at the front door and telling me about his kids and telling me about his wife, and he showed photos of his kids, and I was like, wow, they're amazing. And he was obviously a very successful businessman who I thought was so nice. I was like, wow, he's so nice. I was like, he's one of the genuine ones. I was like, finally, there is a man here who I've come into contact with at this club who is genuinely lovely, telling me about how amazing his wife is, how they work together, and she's still out in Sweden doing some of the work or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So then I was like thinking in my head, the tiniest amount, thinking, okay, so if you loved your kids that much, why have you just come back from Sweden, you're on a night out? But anyway, it could have been work night, I don't know. Anyway, Tiniest bit came and went, and then I thought just, oh, he's so lovely, you know. Just kept talking about his family. I was like, wow. So then I walk him down to his table, and he's really, really nice still, and being so polite and courteous to everyone, especially women, just being really friendly. And you're like, he's not pervy, he's not slimy, he's so nice. He's so nice. He's not that nice. He's sitting downstairs, and all of a sudden he comes over and he's like, oh, Imogen, can you just, there's going to be 2 girls. Sorry, what is that? He's like, there's going to be 2 girls that come to the front door. Can you just bring them into my table? And I was like, yeah, of course. Thinking they're just to do with his business partners that he's out with, you know. Anyway, these 2 girls come, and they were known from the club because they were, I don't know how to say it, escorts? Prostitutes? Is that the same thing? Am I really naive? I'm probably really naive. Anyway, the club knew them because they normally were paid by rich men to come in, and then they'd go home with them. So they came, and I was like, they were like, oh, table for so-and-so's name. And I was like, no. So I was like to my manager, I was like, I'm not going to walk them down. I'm not going to walk them down to this man. Like, he's a married man. And then my manager was like, no, it's not for him. It's for his friends, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, But at that time, I'm bubbling a bit, thinking, please, 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 please. Like, please don't make me lose my faith in men again, please. I take these 2 girls down, and then I leave him on the table, and he greets them in a very friendly manner. And I was like, So then I went and took another table down, and when I took the other table down, I see this man sitting down with 1 girl each on each individual knee. So 1 girl's here, 1 girl's here, and he's just chatting with them, then kissing this one, then having a chat with this one, then giving her a kiss. And I was like, no. I was so sad about it. I was like, he's a cheat. And he's cheating on his wife, who he talked about how much he loved her, and he's paying for it, and he's got kids. And I was like, I hate them, they're disgusting. Anyway, it gets worse, it gets so much worse. At the door, you know, chilling, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, this unreal older lady, I would say like 39, 40 maybe, she was incredible. I was like, wow. Like, wow. Just wow. Like, sexy but smart, sophisticated, classy. I was like, wow. So then she was like, hi girls. She was like, I've just come to surprise. I was about to say subscribe to my husband. She was like, hey girls, I've just come to surprise my husband. His name is blah, blah. And when she said his name, I was like, no. Honestly, I was like, no. And then I was like to my manager, I was like, I can't. I'm not taking her downstairs. I'm not taking her down to that. I'm not taking her down to that. And then she was like, is he here? I've just flown back from Sweden. Like, I'm going to surprise him. And I was like, you're an angel. And he's a devil. So then I took him downstairs. So then anyway, my manager was like, you have to take her downstairs. I was like, I'm not taking her downstairs. I'm not taking her downstairs. And my manager was like, you have to. I was like, I'm not. I don't care. I'm not taking a woman down to something which would kill someone. It would kill someone. So I said no. So then someone else walked her down. Anyway, you just hear effing and blinding. She's dragged him up the stairs, and she's outside the front door of the club shouting at him, and she's crying, and she's like, if you do this in the middle of a club, what are you doing behind closed doors? What have you kept from me? I forgave you once, I won't forgive you again. I was like, no, he's done it to you before. And it was just, honestly, it was absolutely heartbreaking to see this woman think, this is my husband, this is the father of my kids, and he just was cheating on her in a club. And what was he gonna do, take these prostitutes home? Or like to a hotel, which most of them all did? Like, oh, and she threw her wedding ring, and it was just like, honestly, it was absolutely devastating because it just happened so much. Like, there were so many rich men that would come in, and we had like this beautiful door girl that everyone like loved. She was amazing, she's amazing, she's amazing. And men would come in and just, even if they're married, they try to come onto her. And you'd meet someone and you'd think they were quite nice. You'd be like, wow, you know, they're actually all right. And Lucy, what's that? Oh, it's on the screen. And Lucy would be like, oh, he's quite nice for you. Because Lucy's got a boyfriend. She'd be like, he seems really sweet. And then they'd go downstairs, get a bit drunk, do some drugs, and then come up and they'd be like that. You're right, you're gonna give me your number? And they're gurning. And you can see their pupils, and you can see like white on their nose, and you're like, what? You're vile. You're vile. And I had this one boy once. I was set. I was like, he is nice. I was like, he is nice. Because obviously I work like 5-6 nights a week. I met a lot of people. Yeah, and me and my friend Lucy were like, he's a good egg. He's a good egg. So then he kept coming up and being like, he was in a massive group of lads and they were out for like a football-y night out or whatever. And he kept coming up and speaking to me, like kept coming up and was like getting in trouble because you're not really allowed to speak in the doorway. So they kind of got moved on by the security all the time. And he was like, please, 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 like, just let me speak to her. Just let me speak to her. And I was like, oh, like, he's so cute. And he was just being really nice. And I wasn't being naive then. I don't think I was being naive. Like, I actually felt like he was a good egg. So then he was like, oh, I'm not drinking tonight. And I was like, oh, why? And he was like, oh, I'm not like the lads downstairs. I just don't like that. And I was like, really? And I was like, really? You're very different to normal, not like normal boys then. And he was like, yeah, I'm just like, I just came out because obviously like they're my mates and stuff. And he was like, I'd rather be up here talking to you. And he was so like that. And he kept like bringing me a drink up, like non-alcoholic, but he'd bring me up a pineapple juice and like keep coming upstairs. And I'd be like, wow. And then I'd be like, oh, can I go outside for like some fresh air? Because you get like 2 minutes outside or something. And I'd go out and he'd come talk to me. And he was like, I'm completely mesmerized by you. Like, I think you're so beautiful and like so nice. And I've never met someone who's so like charismatic as you. And he's like, you're funny. And I was like, because we were speaking like all night. He came early doors and we were speaking all night. Anyway, then he was like, can I take your number? And I was like, really? I was like, you haven't got a girlfriend, have you? I was like, I know you might laugh, but I just have to check because the people I meet here. And he was like, are you being serious? He was like, no, not at all. And then I was like, oh, really? Okay, that's really refreshing then. And then I was like, what's your full name? And he was like, oh, don't add me on Facebook or anything because I don't use it. And then I was like, I was like, what's your Instagram? And he was like, oh, don't even go on there either. So anyway, I did a little bit of stalking. I knew one of his friends because his friend got the table. So I looked at his friends, then I went on his friend's Instagram, got his first name obviously, went on, saw he's got a kid and he's engaged. Like, can you write it? Can you even write it? Probably not. That's why I honestly lost all my faith in men. I was like, what? They've got such a nice girlfriend, nice life at home. What do they want? Like, what is it that they want? Like, what are they going out for? And I just, honestly, it's like my biggest hate. Like, I think to myself, how can you be that weak? Like, if you don't want to be with someone, leave them. And a lot of boys would come up and be like, I love my girlfriend. And I'd be like, but you don't love your girlfriend because you're downstairs trying to cheat on her. And they'd leave with another girl and I'd go downstairs and see them kissing another girl. And I'd be like, you have a girlfriend. And I would say something to them. I would always say something to them because I'm so outspoken. I'd want to say something. And my manager would always tell me off about it. And I'd be like, you've got a girlfriend. Like, what are you doing? And they'd be like, oh, I love my girlfriend and that, but like, we're not really having sex at the moment. I'm like, you are vile. You are vile. No one needs sex that much. Talk to your girlfriend. Like, oh, honestly, just even talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's why I never realised or never believed that anyone like my fiance existed. Because I was just so like, are they all the same? Like, are they all just out? Like, I just didn't get it because I'd see them with the most beautiful angels. And it's not even about having a beautiful girlfriend or a beautiful boyfriend. I'd just be like, what? And you know what's worse? That some of these girls would get with these boys knowing that they have a girlfriend. And you know what? If every girl stood together and was like, I'm never going to get with someone who has a girlfriend or whatever, and every boy stuck together and didn't do that, then no one would be able to cheat. Because no one would allow it. Like, if a boy tried to cheat, every girl would be like, I know you got a girlfriend. The thing is, I get it, sometimes it's hard because people lie and people whatever. But like, if you've got an inclination, like, stick to your morals, stick to your moral compass. Like, it makes me feel sick. And do you know what's worse? Some people get cheated on, then go out and be the cheater. And I'm like, what? Like, why would you want to cheat? Like, what? It actually makes me feel sick. Sorry, I know people make mistakes, but it is the one thing where I worked in a nightlife and a nightclub where all I saw was cheating. Cheating and drugs. That's all I saw. And I just was so like, and obviously when I met my fiance, because he's from a much smaller town than where I was living, he was so like, what? I can't believe you've even seen any of this. Like, it's so not in my nature. And I was like, oh my God, you're actually pure. You're actually pure. Thanks for listening to this story time. It was a bit of a hellish time, but I also really enjoyed it at the same time because it was easy money. I had like a friendship group there. But when it got to the end, I was like, get me out of here. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this story time. Make sure you stay tuned for all my other videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. I've got a challenge video with pups, something to do with clothing on Tuesday. I also want to do more makeup videos, get back into those, testing things. So if there's anything you want me to test, make sure you let me know down below. Thursday I have a very exciting video. I've got another moving vlog to show you a little bit more that we've got. And then Sunday I'll see you for story time. I love you so much. Until next time, I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna leave you. Also, make sure you check out my podcast because I have Soap on it today, so make sure you go and listen to it. Soap Does Nails is over on my podcast, so I'll leave the link in the description below. I love you all so much. Bye.